All right, everybody, day 2 of the 2022 NFL Draft. I'm Louis DiBiase, host of the Locked On Eagles podcast. Thanks for hanging out. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to be on the clock here in about 10 picks. The Seattle Seahawks on the clock at 40 overall. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're up in the second round at pick 51. After what an incredible first day yesterday, the Eagles trade up for Georgia defensive tackle Jordan Davis for 2 fourths and a 5th round pick. And then 3 minutes later, they shock the NFL world and they trade for Tennessee Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown. You could not have, and look, I thought if they didn't take a safety or a cornerback yesterday, I was going to be upset. Like, I couldn't imagine a scenario where if they took linemen and receivers like they always do, that I was going to be, maybe I wasn't going to be devastated, but if they weren't going to take, a safety, a linebacker, a corner, that I was going to be over the moon. But that was the case yesterday. That was one of the most exciting first nights of the NFL draft that I can remember. As an Eagles fan, I can go back to 2016 is probably the last time I felt like that, when they did trade up for Carson Wentz. So at the same time, however, they did take Jordan Davis, who is a defensive tackle. They traded 18 and another additional third, 101 overall for A.J. Brown, who is a wide receiver. So this team's glaring need on the second and third level of the defense is still very much apparent. They need a cornerback today. They need a safety with that 51st pick and with that 83rd selection. Right now, with about 10 picks to go, and again, so I'm watching on ESPN right now, but it is extremely slow compared to reporters on Twitter. So we know that Kyler Gordon just went off the board, the Washington cornerback, going to the Chicago Bears. And so right now, Seattle is still on the clock. Let's take a look at, so here was, before the draft started today, I created a list of my top 19 best players available for round 2, since from 33 to 51, 19 prospects were going to be picked, including the Eagles selection at 51. And taking a look at the top 10 right now, a lot of, again, second and third level defensive players. Right now, the players that have been off the board, so my top 3, they're all still there for the taking. Cornerback from Clemson, Andrew Booth, is still there. Penn State safety, Jaquan Brisker, and Georgia linebacker, Nakobe Dean. My guy from UTSA, Tariq Woolen, the upside machine, 6'4", 4.26 speed. He's still available. Unfortunately, at number 5, Baylor safety Jalen Petrie, he did just go to the Houston Texans, who selected the Baylor safety as the 4th safety off the board in the draft. After yesterday, Kyle Hamilton goes to the Ravens, who was a Daxton Hill goes to the Bengals at 31. Back-to-back safeties to end the first round. Lewis Seen goes to the Minnesota Vikings at 32. So right now, outside of Petrie, though, everybody I want at 51 at the top is still available. And then Arnold Ebiketie at 6, the Penn State edge rusher, he did just go to the Atlanta Falcons, but Alabama linebacker Christian Harris is still there. Baylor safety JT Woods, Washington corner Kyler Gordon, he did just go to Chicago. So only 3 of my top 10 prospects are not available anymore for the Eagles. Michigan edge rusher David Ajabo also still available in that selection. And then when it comes to 11 through 19, again, it's a lot of other, third tier secondary players. I would say Kobe Bryant, the Cincinnati cornerback, Kirby Joseph, the safety from Illinois, Boye Mafe, if they want to go edge rusher at Minnesota, Wyoming linebacker Chad Muma, who Gino absolutely loves, maybe Brandon Smith from Penn State, a linebacker. But I'm really focused still on this top 10 because there's a lot of players that are available that I like, and you're pretty much guaranteed at this point to get at least one. So I'm going to try to react to these picks based on what I'm seeing on Twitter as opposed to ESPN, or I'm going to be very much behind. And that is the one struggle with draft coverage. And so we just got this from Jordan Schultz. The Seahawks are going to select Boye Mafe at the 39th overall selection, the Minnesota edge rusher. Shout out to Tanner. Thanks for doing this live stream. Absolutely, man. Thanks so much for checking us out. Yesterday was an incredible first day of live coverage, 4 hours. Gino and I were live. We did our podcast afterwards. To have so many of you guys checking us out was truly awesome. So we really appreciate it. And speak of the devil himself, we got Gino Camilleri right now joining us. Gino, what's up, brother?
Not too much, man. Back in good time here. About
a
couple picks here before the Eagles. Things have
call it right now. I don't hate what's going on. I hate that Jalen Petree's gone, but the corners that went so far, Roger McCreary and Kyler Gordon, not going to lie, didn't really want anyway compared to Booth and Tariq Woolen especially, or even JT Woods.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree on McCreary. I think he's more of that slot fit, and Tennessee so badly needs that as well. Jalen Petrie, that one hurts. I mean, we still have a fair amount of safeties left. I mean, you got Jaquan Brisker, Brian Cook, Nick Cross, Kirby Joseph, Tyson Anderson, JT Woods, Rowan McKinley III. I mean, this is going to be a long day. I don't really even expect. Oh, Bowie Mafe just went to the Seahawks, but
don't give the Eagles a reason to take another lineman today, man. They need yesterday again. If you were not going to do it, if you weren't going to take a defensive back yesterday, that's the scenario where I would have been happy, right? But today you got to get one here at this pick, man. You really do.
Yeah, I would believe so as well. I honestly, Lou, I don't know if they're going to even make this pick at 51. To be honest,
really, you think they'll trade back?
I think they want picks, and
they did give up a lot of capital yesterday, 2/4, a fifth, and a third. So they gave up 4 picks, right, for AJ Brown and Jordan Davis. Yeah, quality over quantity sometimes, though.
Very true. I mean, they do get 2 blue chip players that they're going to be able to contribute right away for the team. But if you watch the press conference between Howie Roseman, Andy Weidel, and Nick Sirianni, somebody had asked, like, do you plan on trading, planning on trading all those picks away? Like, do you plan on acquiring more? And Howie jokingly looked at Andy Weidel and said, yeah, I got you. I'll get you a few. So, I mean, that's tongue in cheek, of course, but
sure,
it's very on par with what they would do, because even if you do trade out of 51, I believe trading up from 53 or up from 83 is also an option. So, I mean, we could see a little bit of both today, but I want to get around closer to 8 picks than where they are right now with 6.
So Kenneth Walker, and Gino, we're going to be doing this based on Twitter, or we're going to be very much behind. So the Seattle Seahawks are expected to take Kenneth Walker, the Michigan running back,
another running back
overall pick. So yeah, we had Breece Hall go off the board a little earlier to the New York Jets. The first running back taken,
Michael Carter. I don't get that.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid duo, though, man. The Jets. I mean, the Eagles, I felt like were one of the big time winners yesterday, if not the winner. But Joe Douglas kind of matched Howie Roseman with Garrett Wilson, Ahmad Gardner before that, Jermaine Johnson. Those are your 3 first-round picks. And then you get Breece Hall today, who I thought was the best running back in the draft. That's a solid first 4 picks, man, for New York.
Joe Douglas, man, like, what a great day for the Howie tree.
He's killing it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm excited to see what Cleveland does here in a couple picks with Andrew Berry. I mean, that'll be interesting as well. You got to follow kind of what they do, because I like to see how in tune they are with the former organization that they worked with. So those picks that they made are very Howie Roseman-esque. I mean, that pick of Breece Hall reminds me so much of that Miles Sanders pick a couple of years ago, if you think about it. Early on in day 2, I mean, it was around pick 50, but they get their guy to pair with Michael Carter on an offense which has a fantastic offensive line already, and they're only going to get better in terms of the playmakers that they have now with Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Sauce Gardner on the outside. Joe Douglas, have a freaking draft so far, my friend.
So, Gino, Nakobe Dean is still on the clock as well. Like, I really want a corner or safety, but Nakobe Dean is a player I saw as a first-round talent. I thought you could make the argument he was LB1 even over Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd was our top linebacker, but it was pretty close where you could say it was 1A, 1B. So those top 4, I'm still excited that they are all available between Booth, Brisker, Dean, and Woolen. If you can get one of those guys, I'd be really happy here.
I think that most likely it'll probably be the best cornerback available, but linebacker's crazy. I mean, Nakobe Dean, Chad Muma, Christian Harris, Leo Chenal, Troy Anderson, Brian Asamoah, Darian Beavers, Channing Tindall, like a ton of guys that are on my top of my board for that position are there as well. And you better hope it's not an offensive lineman. I've heard whispers that they really like that center, Cam Jergens. I think he's out in Nebraska. So it might be a bad pick for Lou. But, hey, you're still good with the Malik Willis not to the Giants thing yet. So things are looking up.
I can't believe he is still on the board. I'm not going to waver in my belief in him, but I cannot believe the NFL feels different about this. But, still Kenny Pickett, the only quarterback off the board so far in the 2022 NFL draft. Real quick, shout out to Tony watching in Scotland again. Asked if there's any thoughts about moving up for Andrew Booth. Gino, I love Andrew Booth, and again, I want one of those top 4 prospects on this list. But as you mentioned, Howie's trying to collect extra draft capital at this point. He made all his aggressive moves, giving up picks for quality yesterday. I can't imagine they make a move up, even for a corner or safety.
Yeah, what are you going to be down to 4 or 5 picks again?
Yeah, I think it'll be too tough.
Also, I believe that we could be in the market for a Jalen Reagor trade or maybe even Andre Dillard trade at this point.
Yeah, they decided to not exercise the 5th-year option today on Andre Dillard.
Oh, they did? I didn't even see that. Okay,
Yep.
So that will make things very interesting because I'm assuming that they're not going to let him walk for free.
Well, you do get a comp pick, right, at some point?
If somebody were to sign him when he walks as a free agent.
Which I'd imagine. Look at what the Detroit Lions paid Halapoulivaati Vaitai, man.
Hey, he won a Super Bowl as a left tackle, man. Don't ever disrespect.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, you might be able to get a good comp pick, so maybe you don't just take anything you can get. You'd rather have a high-level, quality backup left tackle and then get the comp pick next year. So that could be something for sure. Gino, somebody stuck their nose up at Tariq Woolen on Twitter when we were discussing this a little while ago tonight when the draft started because of how raw he is. But again, with the Eagles, like they really do need long-term cornerback help. And I feel like, with Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox in house, yeah, do you need that other boundary corner pretty bad also in the short term? Sure. But I think there's enough veterans still in the open market that you could bring in like an Xavier Rhodes and let Tariq Woolen sit for a while. Like, I still think this can be a long-term look, and you don't have to force a short-term need here.
I don't believe so either. And I mean, if you look at the player that was the second cornerback off the board yesterday, right? Look at his measurables, look at his athleticism. Tariq Woolen is very, very similar. Just doesn't have the production, doesn't have the completeness to his game yet. But somebody like that, the unicorn type picks, Lou, that's what Howie Roseman just has been seemingly doing here the past couple of years. I mean, you look at the Milton Williams pick, for example, last year, he tested through the freaking moon, man. And they just want guys that are athletes. And I mean, give me Tariq Woolen's size, give me his
We're going to have to focus on
athleticism. Yeah.
Because Andrew Booth just went to the Indianapolis Colts. They just moved up for Booth. So if we're looking at corner right now, it looks like Woolen is the guy because Kyler Gordon's now off the board too. So unless you're thinking maybe Kobe Bryant.
Minnesota take?
So Minnesota, let me take a look. They traded down with Indianapolis for that 42nd pick. And Indianapolis moved up into that spot and took Booth.
Are you sure?
Yep.
No. Minnesota received 40. Minnesota receives 42.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I messed it up. The Vikings traded up with the Colts, and they took Andrew Booth. Regardless.
Crazy, but I ain't
no.
Crazy.
Yes. So regardless, Andrew Booth is off the board here. So back to this list, we've got Brisker, Dean, Tariq Woolen. Let me ask you, because this is my list of I thought the best players available from pick 33 to 51. When it comes to your top guys available right now, does it differ at all with my list?
No, I would say it's pretty on par. I mean, I'd be okay with, I don't know, wide receiver now. I think you kind of push that to the back.
My boy Christian Watson going to the Packers. That was a great move by Green Bay going to get Rodgers needed that.
Yeah. I really think right now too, like, where's Buffalo pick? They pick after you. This run on tight ends hasn't even started yet, Lou. Like the Eagles could realistically grab the best tight end in the class at 51, and I wouldn't bat an eye.
I just have no idea who it would be. Is it McBride, Dulcich? I know they like Isaiah Likely.
Imagine all that size, though, that you have on the interior. Like, you're going to be able to run some incredible offensive formations if you were to add somebody like that. But in terms of safety, of course, Jaquan Brisker is number one on my board right now. Brian Cook is still there. Nick Cross, Kirby Joseph. You want to wait a little bit, Tyson Anderson, JT Woods, Verone McKinley. So, that's okay. I would much rather go cornerback right now because I'm still big on Kobe Bryant. Roger McCreary went, of course.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's going to be quite the next couple picks here. Reagor deleted. Yeah, I saw that Reagor deleted all his social media stuff. So.
Oh yeah, Tanner just asked if that means something. With Jalen Reagor, it always means something. He's not Stephon Diggs with the shadowy tweets that have no relation to his football career. With Reagor, look, Gino. the Eagles, like that's it for him. There's no, this isn't like Nelson Aguilar in 2017 when you brought in Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith, you had Jordan Matthews. Like, there was still a path for Nelly to become a main player on offense. They're not moving. I mean, A.J. Brown is now on a 4-year, $100 million deal. Devontae Smith is your long-term top receiver. Quez Watkins is not going to lose that spot to Rager. Unless you're wider. And Zack Pascal, we can't even forget, is your 4th receiver right now. So Rager is wide receiver 5. Yeah, I would probably delete my stuff too. I mean, I don't think there's a path at all.
I agree. And speak of wide receivers, it looks like the Giants are going to go ahead and take Wan'Dale Robinson.
Wow. Wan'Dale Robinson going right now?
So the Kadarius Toney talk is probably bigger than we
I was going to say, man, it's a very similar style.
Very similar style of player, man. Like, you talk about all the explosion in the world. A little bit down my list, and hey, they did that last year with Kadarius Toney. The miss on Devontae Smith really has crushed this organization. So
over Sky Moore, over George Pickens, there I guess is some
Jalen
stuff on
Tolbert,
Pickens'
Alec
character.
Pierce, John Mechie, David Bell, Calvin Austin. I mean, all.
Is George Pickens this year's Darius Geis, where he just plummets down the board because of character concerns? That's what it sounds like.
I haven't heard what maybe you have heard, but
yeah, there was a story that came out from The Athletic, and so they interviewed a bunch of scouts and coaches, positional coaches, and everybody was saying the same thing about Pickens and worries about immaturity and some legitimate character concerns when it came to the interview process. And that's kind of what happened with Geis. You heard that last second right before the draft, and you're wondering, like, why is he the 7th running back off the board? And then you kind of got your answer. So, but Wan'Dale Robinson did not think that was going to be the next receiver taken after Watson.
I don't think so either. And the New York Giants, I mean, they had a great day 1, but day 2, I mean, that's a pick. I mean, I believe they trade back for a 4th, maybe 10 picks from 6 would be a lot. And I think you're going to have to take more like later day 3 picks, of course. But I mean, how far are you going to trade back? That's the thing. If you're only going to trade a couple spots, you're only going to get a 5th round draft pick. But hey, if they move from 51 to let's say 65, for example, I mean, you're going to get some decent compensation.
Gino, here is the bottom of that top 19 list I made, 11 through 19. So Boye Mafe off the board going to, it was Seattle, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then so you got Chad Muma still, your boy from Wyoming. Kobe Bryant, I do like the corner from Cincinnati. Kirby Joseph, maybe if you do a move down, like it was suggested from Illinois. Really good ball skills down the field if you want more of a deep safety. And then, like you said, the run on tight ends. I like Greg Dulcich the best, but you're a big Trey McBride person. The Eagles apparently really like Isaiah Likely. All very different styles, different strengths and weaknesses. I could see them taking anybody. The only guys not available at the bottom of this would be Boye Mafe, which was my 11th player on the board, and then 17, Auburn's cornerback Roger McCreary. Again, Gino, I don't want to, put a corner in a box that is shorter in length, shorter with actual length as well when it comes to his arms. But McCreary, I don't know. I just think he's too similar to Avonte Maddox in a way. And I don't want to force a certain role and just take the best corner available. But, I do want a guy that has more length there. So yeah. I'm not devastated that he went early.
No, I totally agree with you there. And I'm just getting real interested to see, I mean, Cleveland – they just paid Denzel Ward. They got Greedy Williams. Probably
Terrence Newsom, too, who had an awesome rookie season.
Baltimore, you could hypothetically think maybe with Marcus Peters is still there, right? I mean, he was injured last year, but he should be coming back. So probably not. Detroit, maybe outside of Jeff Okudah. Washington, potentially. Chicago just took their guy, so they took one. New Orleans, potentially. Kansas City, potentially. So, I mean, the idea of trading up to get a cornerback, you might have to do it in the end, which would not be great. But hey, maybe we see some magic here from Howie Roseman. But there's a lot of good players on the board, Lou. Like, there's at least 25 guys that I'm okay with taking at 51, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't hate the way the board's falling right now. I wonder, do you think I don't know if a quarterback goes before the Eagles? Like, if you can get some linemen here going, a quarterback, I don't know. I don't know where maybe the Lions at 46 take Malik Willis finally, or Matt Corral.
I don't know.
Ian Rappaport talked about earlier today that the Panthers like Corral a lot, but again, I've been hearing all offseason about these teams and quarterbacks, and there's only been one still off the board.
Yeah, Cleveland's not taking one. Baltimore's not taking one. Detroit realistically could and should. Washington realistically could. New Orleans could. Kansas City, no. Philly, no. Unless, what if he's there at 51, Lou?
Are we going to do 2020 all over again? Like, is that what's going to happen? Look, for me, I'll take it because I just need Malik Willis on this football team. But stop doing that. Take a quarterback when you know you're going all in on that player. I'm done with this middling. Don't sit on the fence. Although that's not even what they were doing with Hurts. They were taking him to be a backup. But this time it would be different. And no, unless you're going all in, and that would have been in the first round, don't take a quarterback.
Yeah, that guy was on TV forever. Oh, Houston just trades up. What could Houston want? What could Houston want?
They already got Derek Stingley, so don't really have to worry about corner. They just took Jalen Petrie, so they already did their damage.
Might never pick.
Yeah, they're trying to collect a lot of future picks, man.
Yeah, they're anti-draft day in it.
What if Houston's trading up for a quarterback? We mentioned Malik Willis yesterday for Houston at 3.
Peter Schrager said that they were interested in a running back and that they probably would have taken Breece Hall there. But, I mean, Kenneth Walker goes, I'm not taking another running back there if I'm Houston. You got to be crazy. Like, you got to take the quarterback. Like, you have to.
It was a wide receiver. Alabama's wide receiver, John Mechie.
Really?
The Houston Texans. Yeah.
What a strange way that the board on wide receivers is falling.
Yeah, I did not expect Wan'Dale Robinson and John Mechie to be. But Mechie, I will say, I think the injury kind of put him back a bit. Jamison Williams' resurgence down at the end of the season. I think he doesn't do anything incredible, but I think he's just going to be a really solid second receiver in this league. So in the second round, I think that's, with Brandon Cooks as your number 1, I think Mechie could be your number 2.
John Mechie is like the one guy that we have just not ever talked about on, I think, this entire draft process. And he's still like a very good player in his own right. And another guy who just is in the collection of very good Alabama wide receivers. And you got Bolden, who you could still draft later on as well, who's a very good route running wide receiver. I just can't believe how quickly all of these receivers are going, though. Like, here comes the run on the second round. I mean, Baltimore could use one. Detroit got theirs. Washington got theirs. Chicago could use one. I mean, Philadelphia realistically could take one. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at it. We know that they just love to add weapons there. So, hey, we'll see.
Tony, you guys must be a good minute or so ahead of the UK. Delay is horrible tonight. No, we're also going off Twitter. So that's the problem with the draft. On day 2 and day 3, it gets horribly slow, where it's just like you can't really stick to the TV broadcast to cover it because you're going to be 5 or 6 picks behind.
Oh,
absolutely.
It's just like
the information game right now it's different than it used to be.
Yeah, I know. At least they're not like tipping picks to be the worst. But hey, you can get them out beforehand. Who do you think that Baltimore goes with after getting 2 defensive players? You'd have to believe it's an offensive player, right?
Think they would want to try to show Lamar they care about like his passing ability and making him want to sign a contract extension after trading away his best friend on the team and his top receiver in Hollywood Brown. If I'm the Eagles, though, I want them to sabotage that whole thing because there's nothing I've wanted more in my entire life than Lamar Jackson to become a Philadelphia Eagle. But I digress. Not going to get ahead of myself. I would probably say no. Yes, I can. I've thought about it many times before in my life.
Oh, I know. I know you have. And
Gino, I'm just saying. I talked about this earlier today. A couple takeaways from the quarterback position that I had yesterday. One. Only one quarterback going off the board tells me that 2023, there's going to be a lot of competition for CJ Stroud, for Bryce Young, for whoever that QB 3 and 4 is,
say his
Trey
name,
Lance. Yeah, I mean, Jake Haener, your boy,
baby.
Will Levis, maybe from Kentucky if he takes a step. Anthony Richardson. If a couple of those guys take a big step next year, Devontae Ward, I'm just saying, might be a sleeper agent that could surge during the college football season.
Kid can chuck, man.
Yeah, so I thought about that, and it's going to be tough. So you want Jalen Hurts again. Like, we don't think at times, most of the time, we haven't thought that Jalen Hurts will become the franchise quarterback, but that doesn't mean we don't want it to happen, because it's going to be really tough next year. Even with those 2 first-round picks you have, a lot of other teams that are probably going to need quarterbacks also have multiple ones. And the other takeaway I had was about Lamar. And, Kyler Murray probably won't be traded now, but Gino, the one issue the Eagles had this offseason with quarterback was that guys like Russell Wilson didn't want to come to Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
The thing you get with bringing in A.J. Brown, right? When you have that kind of supporting cast now on offense with an elite offensive line and those weapons, you're suddenly a way better candidate if a Lamar Jackson was now suddenly on the trade market, right? And a lot of the other teams that were better options anyway have already filled it up with Russell Wilson and other quarterbacks. I think next time around, you might have a way better chance. I think you're going to. So I don't know if that's going to happen, if that's going to come to fruition, but if it does, I think you're more of a player.
That is a unbelievably clear look at the Baltimore draft board. Like, they got to do a better job at cover that up.
Do they not blur out anything?
No.
Somebody get that screenshot.
Oh, that was last year. Racy McNabb. Okay. I was like, what in the there's no way that they're doing that. That would be wild. Lou, I also said that I had this thought earlier today. Look at now what it does to the free agent pool that is still out there. Like, if I'm Tyrann Mathieu and I see A.J. Brown is now there and I see the offense that they have and I see Jordan Davis being drafted along with what you have and Darius Slay, like, Philadelphia might be a destination when you can actually get guys in the building. Sometimes it doesn't work via free agency. You got to do it via trade and hope everything else kind of falls into place, which the last 2 drafts have set you up very nicely for that. And I'm still saying if they don't get a safety here, like, go and sign the Honey Badger, because that would be a fantastic pick, especially in the NFC, where it is a very poor conference right now in terms of quarterback play and in terms of roster strength. You saw the purge of guys that have left the NFC. Names like Chandler Jones. A whole list of quarterbacks are now gone. Russell Wilson is out of the conference. This thing is wide open. Get guys now. Make a run. Like, why
not? Talk about making yourself more attractive for quarterbacks. A guy like Tyrann Mathieu, after they signed A.J. Brown, I would want to go to Philadelphia way more now after this draft process with the way they've done things. So, yeah, if you can't get a safety here, even if you do get a safety, I think you need more than one. You need a guy short-term. You need a player long-term here. You need everything at that spot. So even if you were to take Jaquan Brisker, I'm still in on Honey Badger for sure.
David Ojabo, drafted by the Baltimore Ravens.
David Ojabo. I don't hate that. I'm fine with that. I liked Ojabo a lot. I thought he was going to be an option for the Eagles in the first round if he didn't tear his Achilles. And again, I still would have been okay with a lineman today, an edge rusher, if it was like Ebiketie or Ojabo. But again, I'm really focused on those other spots. So it stinks for Ojabo, though, Gino. Like, he probably would have made a case for being a top 10, top 15 pick.
I mean, think of the speed that Baltimore has now. And you just get David Ojabo, who was a potential first-round draft pick without the injury, to pair with not Boye Mafe. Who did they draft last year? The kid out of Penn State.
Who? What team?
Baltimore.
Owe.
Yes, Jason Owe, who had Odafe Owe. Yeah. So now you got him, David Ojabo, 2 freaks on the outside with Kyle Hamilton. You draft the best center in the class. I mean, they're helping out Lamar in a way. I don't know what they're doing in terms of like wide receiver play, but right now Baltimore is having a heck of a draft, and they always seem to, and they always just seem to look into guys.
Man, looks awesome. They've got Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, old man Jimmy Smith still doing it there.
Yeah.
I mean, the things they can do in that secondary is incredible. Bizarro Eagles kind of, Gino. Sometimes they go all in on the second and third level of the defense. And I don't want to say they skimp on edge rushers, but their focus most of the time is on DBs.
I mean, they still have guys that could get after the quarterback, man. They just almost had Darius Smith
Right.
again. Like they
And
had
Oweh
him.
had a great rookie year.
Yeah, he could have. He was in the consideration. 5 left, best 5. Ooh,
Okay.
that's a very good question. Especially
So
2, 3, 4, 5.
let me
Yeah.
go off this list just for reference. I would say Brisker 1, Dean 2, Woolen 3, Christian Harris 4. I like JT Woods 5. That'd be my top 5.
Let's see here. Jaquan Brisker, 100%. Tariq Woolen, Nakobe Dean, Chad Muma, Trey McBride. That's my 5.
That's fair, man.
Detroit
I
is
think they're
in,
going to get a pretty
so-
good player here. Is Malik Willis going to be this pick finally?
That would be pretty interesting to see, man. I would like
I
to
don't
say
like
that he
I'm trying
goes
to
to
like
that
I'm trying to
place that
mentally
puts so much
prepare.
time in him.
I'm trying to mentally prepare for the scenario if the Eagles did take him here, because it'd be a lot different if they took him in round 2 than round 1, because he's not guaranteed to be the guy. Like, he's not guaranteed to be your starter if they took him heading into the 2022 season. I don't think he would be. And you don't even know if their intentions would to give him every opportunity to be the franchise quarterback. So I'd be so conflicted because I just want that guy in the building, but it would be different than if they took him yesterday. I don't think it's going to happen. But again, 2020, Gino, I still remember when me and you were live like we were today. And when Jalen Hurts was never in my head. Like, never would I have thought after the 2019 season, even after the concussion in the playoffs from Carson Wentz, that they would have took a quarterback there. I mean, you either. I mean, the shock value of that reaction was so, but you never know now. That prepared me to prepare, I guess you should say, for everything. Expect to prepare for everything.
So this little run on edge rushers is pretty good for us right now, because ideally I don't believe that they probably would have taken an edge here. I still think that they might later on. Like, I think the day 3 depth of edge is like you could get, I think D'Angelo Malone on day 3.
And here goes another one, Gino. Josh Pascal.
Josh Pascal, exactly. That's what I was talking about here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Headed to
no,
the Detroit
absolutely.
Lions.
Yeah, so now you're just a couple picks away. Washington probably wouldn't take an edge. Chicago, after trading Khalil Mack, they might be in that department to go out and get a defensive lineman. New Orleans, you always know that they could invest in defensive linemen. I think they go corner. Kansas City is where it's like, does Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant go in the next 4 picks here? And that's my fear.
I want one so bad. If they can get Brisker or Woolen, this would just...
Yeah, Brisker too is like...
it would be the perfect first 3 moves you make in the draft. Jordan Davis, A.J. Brown, and Jaquan Brisker would be a dream.
An absolute dream. I mean, we address every single position that we had hang on. We got an update here from Tommy Lawler, who is at Lawler NFL, big-time Eagles Twitter guy. Just a few picks away, and there are 3 linebackers I like: Nakobe Dean, Chad Muma, Christian Harris. Love to see them all within a few picks and still get a linebacker. Those names that I just said, that's why I wanted to bring them up. I mean, Christian Harris very well could be the pick. We talked about him in our process. I'm shocked that we didn't, and I completely forgot to bring him up here. I put him on the list too. Like, there's 6 guys that I'm okay with taking right here. I mean, you could steal one of the better wide receivers at this point too. I mean, Sky Moore, like, I think his value is right around this position too, but I think they end up going secondary. Washington.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with another receiver at this point. I mean, there's no space.
It always could be. JJ Arcega-Whiteside's playing tight end now, and Jalen Reagor might be out of town.
Yeah, because they can't play.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, now though, talking about one person that we haven't mentioned, Zack Pascal, he arguably could be like the best 4th receiver in the NFL, without a doubt at this point.
Absolutely. No, 100%. That's a way better scenario. We brought it up like, yeah, maybe he could be your Jason Avant, and he could be a low-end wide receiver 3, like he showed last year when the Colts desperately needed him, that he stepped up. He was on a 700-yard pace, and he's hit that mark before, but if you can get an A.J. Brown and Quez Watkins, I thought could be a wide receiver 2. Zack Pascal could be a wide receiver 3, but I think they better fit the 3 and 4 spots. So I think this is a way more ideal scenario.
I agree too. I think that right now as well, like, you might be looking to move back a couple spots here too, because I think what we've heard, the positions that they really like: linebacker, tight end, safety, corner. 3 picks between now and then. Fedarian Mathis is going to Washington here.
Good. Another defensive lineman. Perfect.
Yeah. If this defensive line group keeps going, which I I don't know why I looked at a second and third round mock draft today and saw somebody put a defensive lineman at 51 for the Eagle or interior defensive lineman, and that being DeMarvin Leal. Like, why would they draft DeMarvin Leal after they just drafted Jordan Davis? Like that would be completely asinine. And if they don't go secondary here, Lou, I sneakily think it could be a center. I don't know what the end result would be of that pick, but it would
Who's
be
the kid from Rutgers they like? Can't remember the name.
The center out of Rutgers you're talking?
Yeah, there was a report last week that they really liked. I think it was the center from Rutgers. I can't remember, but I don't know, man. I know you don't force things, but this wouldn't be forcing it. The value is too good with the secondary. You got to take a DB. I think even over linebacker, I wouldn't hate it if they had. I wouldn't hate it at all if they took Nakobe Dean or Christian Harris, but I don't know. You need a DB.
Yeah, Cam Jergens.
Oh, Jergens. Yes,
that's out of Nebraska. He's
Nebraska.
Out of Nebraska. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's one I could very well see. I mean, Chicago's going to be an interesting pick, but they just took secondary. New Orleans could very well take secondary, and so could Kansas City.
Yeah, that's the Saints need a safety after losing Marcus Williams.
Yep. And Malcolm Jenkins retired, bro.
Yes, he did. Eagles are still looking to replace that guy.
Still looking to replace Brian Dawkins. What are you talking about?
Oh, Malcolm Jenkins replaced Brian Dawkins, man. So did Rodney McLeod. That's the one thing. Like, they did have the reason they didn't go safety for so long is because they were pretty damn good at those top two spots.
But oh yeah, definitely.
They ignored it way too long, and now they're in a more reactive state. Is there another safety after Brisker that's worth? I mean, maybe Woods. I don't know. This might be a little too rich for JT Woods.
How much do you like Brian Cook? I like Brian Cook out of Cincinnati. I think all those defensive backs out of Cincinnati are surefire day one or day two picks.
Tony says there must be an issue with Dean that he's falling so badly.
Has to be.
Yeah, is it the size? I mean,
I believe it would be.
Yeah.
I think Chad
sometimes
Muma
though,
goes
man, you just
him.
gotta. The film doesn't lie, and sometimes you just gotta keep it simple. And I feel like from Nakobe Dean, I don't know. The size didn't look like an issue at all against the best schools in the country.
Draft
Kay Walker going ahead of him, by the way, yesterday. Talk about a pick that I did not expect to have Walker go. He was the first linebacker off the board, I think, even over Devin Lloyd.
And then Devin Lloyd went, and then we're still waiting. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see Chad Muma or Christian Harris taking over Nakobe Dean at this point. I mean, why would you expect anything different with the way he's fallen?
I could see the Eagles taking one of those two over Dean if they were going to go linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
They had a top 30 visit with Harris. I don't believe they had one with Dean. But don't quote me on that.
I don't think they had a top 30 in Nakobe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Alabama lineman to Washington is just like one of the things you'll see every single year. Dan Snyder loves himself some Alabama linemen.
I forgot Nick Benito's still on the board from Oklahoma. That's enticing, even though I don't love the idea of edge right now. Nick Benito is
I think Nick Benito or Drake Jackson
player.
Could be a pick here for Chicago.
Yeah. One of those guys for the Eagles, potentially too. 3 picks, man. We've got 48 here.
Do you think they make it? Do you think they make the selection?
Yes, I think they do. I think the board is too enticing right now. Maybe though they like the depth and if they can move down a little bit, just don't move down like 10 plus spots. You know what I mean? If you can get a small move down and collect an extra day 3 pick, okay. But don't dramatically move down off this spot. I think you need to come away with one of these. I like the prospects that are falling.
I do too.
Last year, but then they pulled a fast one and it worked out. They took Landon Dickerson. But again, I think me and you, our focus was more on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Asante Samuel Jr., kind of the same theme, you know?
I think linebacker's the move. Hey, appreciate you joining in. All the people that are new to the show, you're always welcome here. Just 2 Western New York Italian kids talking about the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Mentioned by Pat McAfee on the show, by the way. That was a great clip. I watched that almost like every other day.
That was incredible.
I think my doctor's name is DiBiase.
They're like, is his last name Tobias? And the
Tobias.
Like, you see that guy? He's a DiBiase.
Yeah. You would definitely say that.
Like, is it the eyebrows or what is it?
Oh no.
Oh, Rap sheet says quarterback's an option at 51. Stop. Matt Corral. Wait. What if they go quarterback and it's not Malik Willis? It's Matt Corral or Desmond Ritter.
We're going to find
Here's
out
another
in a
one
couple
from Tony.
picks.
Rap sheet suggesting quarterback to New Orleans, but also that we could be a landing spot too. Oh my gosh. Don't do this again. Wait, no. Yes, do it.
Jaquan Brisker just went to the Bears. Sorry to
Damn
say.
it. Oh,
Yep.
damn it. That sucks. That was the last really good safety left on the board for this pick.
Yeah, they're going to have to wait. If they take a quarterback, bro, I will be shocked.
Dude, come on.
Don't do this to us. Don't do this to us.
After yesterday, like, I don't know, man. And it's different. It's not 2020. I'm not going to freak out if they do it. But I thought they thought differently now. You know what I mean? Like, I thought their quarterback mindset was a little different. And it won't be if that's the case. Damn it, Jaquan Brisker 28. I know we already knew, but hearing it again sucks. Damn it.
That's a tough one. Penn State kids having a good day, though. That's for sure.
I love the Penn State prospects this year, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Dotson, Abakide, Brisker, Brandon Smith.
Yeah, you still
Jesse
got Brandon
Lacetta
Smith on the board.
Jesse Lacetta is still available too.
Lacetta will be probably day 3, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, Lou. Just a couple picks away, my friend.
The rap sheet thing has now got me. John Barcher just responds to me, here it comes, because I said quarterback at 51 suggested by rap sheet.
Nah, we're good on that. We're good on that. Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson is going to be a hell of a duo.
Yeah, that's a great duo.
We're not thinking about it, Luke. Get it off your mind.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
It's not happening.
I need New Orleans to do it right
Tariq
now.
Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Chad Moom. If it's Chad Muma, I'm going to be over the moon. I'm going to be over the moon, man.
Yeah, Chad Muma would be a good pick. That's your guy. What was he, your 3rd overall linebacker? Over Christian Harris.
Yes, sir. I was at his workout, man. He fits the part. New Orleans is up. We'll see what they do. They're the only other team that probably could take a quarterback at this point in time. Kansas City for sure isn't. Pittsburgh right behind the Eagles definitely isn't. Indianapolis potentially. New England, no. Arizona, no. Dallas, no. Buffalo, no. Atlanta, possibly. So, do you value the quarterback position that much that you're saying they are the best player available on your board and you take them once again like they did with Jalen Hurts? And we are in nightmare scenario number 2.
See, but this time I don't think it's nightmare scenario. I think it's annoying and I hate their approach to quarterback if that's what they do. But This time they're not convinced. Like, as much as like they might not say it, 2019, there was no reason to still think that we have to replace Carson Wentz. Like, you had to get a backup because you couldn't stay healthy, but they weren't looking to replace Carson. So it would, be somewhere in the middle with my mindset of, okay, like, I understand they want another option with maybe more upside because they don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. 2023, there's going to be a lot of competition. All that logic shapes up. The value would be really good here as well. Corral or Willis at the spot or Ritter could make sense. But again, it's just like when you have 2 quarterbacks, Gino, you have 0. And I'm just more of the mindset of whoever you believe in that you want to give the opportunity, give him the entire opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, don't sit in the middle or you won't really ever give him truly that full opportunity. Maybe you could say that Jalen got that full opportunity in 2021, and I won't press you on that, but just to me, like, pick a focus and go all in, and then if it's not the guy, then go all in on the next one. I don't like the back and forth. That does not work to me. Jimmy
Kempski has a great tweet. Now is the time to get away with it if you're Howie, LOL. Capitalize on the crowd-pleasing day one. It's such a Howie Roseman thing to do. He always keeps you on your toes, man. He always keeps you on your toes. And I'm just waiting to see what New Orleans does, because this could be the real wrench in the whole thing if they do go quarterback here.
Man, if it's Malik Willis, though, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, for every logical thing I just said, the fanboy in me will love it because I believe he's going to be a star. So
would be willing to trade up multiple draft picks, and he ends up getting him at 51.
Yeah, I said they were going to go get him at 2. I said I would have went to go get him at 2, and I still stand by that, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean that's on record, dude. That's not going anywhere.
No. And I don't want to. I'll own it. If he becomes my new white whale, my new Paxton Lynch, I'll own that too.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I hope it's not. Jordan just writes in offensive line incoming. I hope not.
Could be. Could very well be.
That'll be frustrating.
Could very well be, my friend. New Orleans taking a minute here. They're taking a while. The first couple picks like flew, and now we're just.
Man, it might be an offensive lineman, Gino, because value-wise, Tariq Woolen's the top guy available to me. Maybe they don't see it that way. After that, there is a pretty big drop-off with DBs. And next up, you got probably JT Woods, Kirby Joseph, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, maybe this is value-wise linebacker, edge, or offensive line.
I think with how many linebackers there are, or potentially tight end as well, I mean, I think you're going to get the pick of the litter. Like, you might get the best player at the interior defensive line and potentially the best tight end on the board. You could potentially get a top 3 linebacker, in my opinion, with Chad Muma, top 5, and the Kobe Dean and Christian Harris. But who knows? Just talk a quarterback. Like, I don't want that to happen, man.
Oh, man. Alontae Taylor just went to the Saints, another corner off the board, by the way. So another DB goes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I mean,
Alontae Taylor did not expect him to be off the board this early.
No.
But again, in this draft, expect the unexpected. Boards are going to be pretty different.
Alontae Taylor. Ooh, yikes. All right, so we're sitting pretty right now, Lou.
Yeah, one pick to
go. We got
got
Kansas City. We got our pick of the litter with Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Nakobe Dean, Chad Muma, Trey McBride on my board. I know you have.
Give me Tariq Woolen. Give me Tariq Woolen.
Is a good
give me Tariq Woolen or Nakobe Dean. And if you take Nick Benito, I'll understand. Offensive line, not going to be really happy about that one, but I expect that could happen. There's a good chance there. But yeah, Gino, I think Tariq Woolen and Nakobe Dean make too much sense here.
I would like to see Kansas City go some sort of defensive line. They could potentially go safety, losing the Honey Badger as well. I don't know. Like, now that freaking Rappaport, he's rattled me, man.
Yeah, because he doesn't just say that.
Ooh, somebody said, guess we go Drake Jackson. That would be an interesting pick. I wouldn't mind him. I like Drake Jackson a lot.
I do too.
Yeah,
got
like
some motor issues.
If you took Nick Benito or Drake Jackson right now, like, I see it organizationally, like what they do. They just do that. But need-wise, when BPA meets need, it's a good pick. And there are plenty of BPAs like on our board, and it all comes down to Kansas City, and then we're one pick away, man. I'm stressing. I'm very stressed out at this point.
Oh man, I think this could be quarterback.
If it's quarterback, Lou, just let chaos begin, man.
And I don't know if it will be Willis. It might be Corral. Like, if it was going to be one, I might put my money. I don't know, because there was reports they liked Willis too, though.
And they could also trade back. Like,
watch it be Sam Howell and just to totally
create
chaos.
Lou, stop.
That I would
Stop.
Carson Strong, Nevada.
I'm down with Carson Strong, man. Dude, some people are blasting that New Orleans pick. The 33rd team had him as their 205th overall prospect. Ooh, boy.
Cam Miller. Howie going full Howie and grabs Carson Strong because he's petty and wants his next quarterback to be a Carson that's better than Wentz.
Could also get Carson Wells, linebacker out of Colorado. But I love what you said yesterday about Carson Wentz's number now being given to 2 different players in less than like a month and a half.
Both receivers, by the way.
Yeah.
Jordan writes in, if it was a quarterback, I would say Corral gave him a top 30 visit. That is correct. They met with him twice. They did meet with him at the Combine as well, but there was a report they were watching Willis closely at the Senior Bowl. The Liberty coach talked about how he talked extensive for a pretty long time with one of the Eagles members of the coaching staff. Again, he has a lot of similar qualities of Jalen Hurts, the good ones at least that you like about Jalen, with more arm upside. I don't
Okay,
know.
so it looks like New England just traded up to where
Up
Kansas
to
City
50.
is. Yes.
What's up, Curtis? You think it's going to happen, my man? We going quarterback?
Let's run it. Let's run Malik Willis.
He's freaking out. He's freaking out. Me too, man. Me too.
Oh, man. What? I mean, we were just so wrong on that kid. We were incredibly wrong.
About who?
Malik, like where he was going to go.
Oh, yeah. Where he was going to go. 100%.
The biggest smoke screen the NFL has done in quite some time.
Yeah.
All right, come on, make your pick here, New England.
New England moves up. If they wanted to go in front of Philly, do they think it's maybe for Nakobe Dean? They seem like a Chad Muma kind of place.
Yeah, Chad Muma is written in the stars. Pickett is in for New England. Looks like it's about to be announced here in a couple seconds. And then your Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock with their third pick of the 2022 NFL draft, because with the second one, they got A.J. Brown. And I'm counting that just like I did Darius Slay a couple years ago, because that is part of the draft class.
Man, the second round, Gino, has stressed me out more over the years
Always.
than the first round.
Always.
Right? Am I right? Like, it has been harder to deal with this emotionally on day 2 than day 1.
I'm not refreshing Twitter. I want to see this organically.
Okay. Yes. Same here.
All right.
That's the way we'll do it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair. We can tip every other
pick.
Yeah,
because nothing sucks more than reacting to other people's reactions instead of actually seeing it for yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
and for our viewers in the comments, let's be respectful here. No tip in the pick, okay? Let's get the raw reaction. You saw the AJ Brown thing yesterday, right? You want that again? Let's just give us like 2 minutes here.
We're just waiting on New England. Yeah, don't do that.
Cam Miller, you're a liar.
Jalen Hurts pick was so mind-boggling.
That wasn't
stressful. Actually, I think
all.
it's called mind-boggling. That's like one of those.
Was stressful.
Yeah, that was.
The Patriots drafted Tyquan Thornton, the Baylor receiver.
That could have been the pick for Philly.
That is early for
the
Tyquan
Eagles wanted
Thornton.
Tyquan, though. They were talked about that they wanted Tyquan Thornton. Were they
Wow,
thinking of going another wide receiver? There's no way.
No way. Although maybe
they're
just thinking he's a pure return specialist that they just play as like a hybrid running back receiver.
I mean, maybe Pittsburgh was thinking him to replace.
Cam was being sarcastic.
Okay.
Good. That makes more sense.
Maybe they thought Pittsburgh to replace Juju Smith-Schuster. Tyquan Thornton can get down the field. He can boogie, track athlete. I mean, his track time alone is going to get him drafted in that spot. Like when you could run almost a 4.28, like I'll take anybody that can do that. And Baylor athletes above anything. JT Woods would be a great pick at 83, but we still got 51 to figure out here. We still got 50.
I'll pull this list up again. So Booth and Brisker off the board. Nakobe Dean still available. Tariq Woolen still available. Christian Harris. There's some good linebackers. Chad Muma still on the board. There's some good linebackers in a corner I want. There's some good edge rushers, man. Drake Jackson and Nick Benito, I think both would be worthy of this pick, just based on the way the board has fallen with safety and corner. So
Tariq Woolen's still there. I mean, maybe
I want it to be
less
Woolen,
highly of him.
I don't know how you. I mean, again, you got to be really betting on traits. You got to be very comfortable with that, and you got to make sure you're okay with being patient with that player. You know, that is not a short-term 2022 selection. So
yeah,
if you're okay with redshirting a guy, then and I think the Eagles could have. I mean, maybe not because they need a starting boundary corner right away. But again, you could bring in. There's still options out there after the draft. I think just like there was last year when you brought in Steven Nelson in June.
Yes, yeah, it was June.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be?
What do I think it's going to be? I would say one of the edge rushers. I think Drake Jackson or Nick Benito. What I want it to be is Tariq Woolen.
I would love Chad Muma right here. I really would. I could see the Eagles also taking the first tight end. That's what I'm sticking with.
Just go all in on weapons.
Yeah, just give your quarterback zero excuses. Zero excuses.
Yeah. That'd be tough, though, because how much 12 personnel are you running now with A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, and Devontae Smith?
Mm-hmm.
That's a luxury pick. I don't know if they can afford to make that right now,
No.
considering the holes on defense.
Unless they trade back, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's deep still tight end, and not a single one has been taken. So
you got.
I don't think I'm taking tight end. Watch him take James Cook and avenge 2017, missing on Dalvin in round 2.
Yeah, right. That would be something. Oh, we forgot his card up there.
One of our viewers said it, the picks on Twitter.
I'm not looking. Don't look at the comments. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
We'll check back in right after the pick, people.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll get to it. Because we got that Jalen Hurts one ruined for us, and maybe it was good that happened.
Yeah.
Maybe it was toned us down a little bit.
Tyquan Thornton, wow.
4-2.
Mondale Robinson and Tyquan Thornton. Well, speed kills,
Speed does kill. Yeah, Alec Pierce still on the board. David Bell still on the board. Sky Moore, George Pickens, Kelvin Austin, Khalil Shakir. There's plenty of wide receivers left, man. Plenty of them. And you could get more guys in undrafted free agency, too. This is a
and I'm looking more for a return specialist anyway.
Yeah.
With this, like maybe Bo Melton in the 4th or 5th round makes some sense.
They're going to commercial.
Come on,
my gosh.
Should I announce it for you? Do you want me to do that?
Yeah. Okay,
right.
do it.
I'll be your Roger Goodell. GM.
Okay,
I'll be your Roger Goodell. All right, I'm gonna go to. I don't want to see any analysis. I literally just want to see the pick. All right, with the 51st pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Cam Jergens. Center.
I told you Cam Jergens was going to be the pick. That's a great pick. It's a great pick. They need a center. I love Cam Jergens.
I'm not a fan of this, man. I'm not a fan. I don't think they needed an offensive lineman right now. I think that's a luxury pick, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I think Landon Dickerson could have played center. Isaac Seumalo, Jack Driscoll could be a starting guard in this league. Nate Herbig can be a starting guard in this league. I understand what you do is the trenches and you take linemen, but the fact that 2 of these first 3 picks were on the interior of the line, and Jordan Davis, I understood. I'm not going to negate that pick because of this, but the fact that you came away with 0 linebackers, corners, and safeties again in a draft is extremely frustrating. But it is so on brand for this football team that they went defensive line, offensive line, and receiver. And I guess they're just never going to waver no matter what.
Yeah, probably not, man. I mean, from what we have heard and what we saw around the last couple days, I mean, I figured that Cam Jergens was probably going to be the pick. He wasn't going to make it out of the second round like most people had said. You have to replace Jason Kelce eventually, and I always go back to the season Jason Peters got hurt, and they moved Lane Johnson from right tackle to left tackle. They don't want to move Landon Dickerson, I believe. I don't think they want to move those guys around. I think they know that they have Landon at that left guard position, Jordan at left tackle. Cam Jergens is going to be a plug-and-play center. Right guard, you have your selection of Isaac Seumalo. I mean, Jack Driscoll could play there as well, and then you have Lane Johnson. I just think it's a Philadelphia Eagles pick. I mean, that's what it is. Like it's a B pick. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the report was we saw from Tony Pauline last week that the Eagles really liked Cam Jergens. So it's not really surprising. And I think maybe their vision is we don't want to move Dickerson from left guard. He was a stud last year at that position. Isaac Seumalo has been really good as a guard since he took over as a full-time starter in 2018. So they don't really want to move at anything, right? They don't really want to shuffle multiple spots. They don't want to have Dickerson go to center, have a new left guard as well. They just want to go, look, Kelsey's out, Jergenson's in, plug and play. The logic there, I understand. But again, I just think you could have found that in other avenues. And if you would have did that and one of the other 2 spots would have been like Kyle Hamilton, I would have understood. But I don't know where the safety is coming from now, unless you're really confident Honey Badger's coming. I don't know where that other long-term corner is coming from, unless you love Zach McPherson. I'm tired of, I know you're supposed to go line so much more than other positions. It's so important. And you won a championship mostly because of that. Let's be real. But I'm frustrated that we always have to sacrifice the other positions for it. That we've never just taken, I'm not even saying do it every year, that you haven't just taken 1 year just to maybe with 1 damn pick go corner. Again, I've said this stat a million times on our podcast, but the Eagles have taken a linebacker, corner, or safety in the first 2 rounds only 4 times in the last 12 years. The last time they did it was 2017. And before that, it was 2012. So that's where
Jeff Stoutland was just smiling ear to ear with Jeffrey Lurie.
Well, that's the other thing. You have Jeff Stoutland. He can turn a 7th round rugby player into a star tackle. I don't need to take a lineman in round 2.
I get it. I know. I mean, Andrew DeCecco, longtime friend of the show, said, I get the logic, but the Eagles have far too many needs to take a backup center at 51. I wouldn't even consider it like a backup center. Like, he's going to be starting next year. Like, just put that into the.
Is he though? What happens if Jason Kelsey pulls a Jason Peters? Jason Peters, and he just keeps running it back.
Then
I don't know. Maybe this. Yeah,
I think personally, Lou, they like the depth of the cornerback and safety group, which I personally do too.
Yeah, and maybe you don't. And if you don't love Tariq Woolen, fine. I'm not saying force those picks. And again, safety, there wasn't anybody really left. Let's be honest, value wise, but. I don't know. I was hoping that maybe you go linebacker, or maybe you did like a corner safety like I did. It's more of just the fact that they came away with 3 picks and none of them were at those spots is frustrating, because I'm sick of having band-aids at those positions and just, I don't know, having to have your lines bail you out, not on offense more than defense, but.
I totally get your frustration with it. And we still have 83. I mean, I believe that they'll probably try and trade back from that spot to grab some more picks. But ultimately, they stuck with what they do all the time. I mean, they're through the roof. Nick Sirianni, he's happy about it. I mean, you just have to trust in what they believe. And I believe in Jeff Stoutland. I preach the gospel of Jeff Stoutland. If Stoutland saw this kid and said, we could have the best 5-man line in the NFL for the next 5 to 10 years, it's hard to argue with one of the best offensive line coaches in the history of the sport. And I do like the ability for position coaches to have such input with your general manager and to have that cohesion, because at least they're getting that input, and it's not just saying, oh, we're going to be the smartest guys in the room. We're taking Trey McBride, but nobody in the room liked him. Like, hey, everybody in the room seems to like Cam Jergens.
Just say it. You wanted sexy, and this wasn't sexy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, sure. But no, because I do understand the meat and potatoes are required. Like, I do know that. And I know the Eagles don't want to just be good at the offensive line. They want to be the best. They want to be the top unit. And they're not willing to sacrifice any of those positions being weaknesses. And they don't even really want to settle at just having an okay guard spot or an okay center. So I do get that. And like the way the board fell, I do understand the sides of this pick. I'm not going all in and raging like the Jalen Hurts selection. I'm just frustrated more about what they don't have at those other positions, and that just continues. When I feel like, again, you have been so set up with those other spots that you just keep investing top picks in.
But I've wanted a safety for 5 years, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, man, and you still haven't gotten it. I don't know if you're ever on Locked On Eagles going to get one. If you're going to be a scout at the NFL level, you're going to be the one that takes the safety for the Eagles.
Could you imagine the long con of long cons that I find my way into the Eagles building in NovaCare, and we finally get my input to get a safety? That would be something, my friend. But
all right, Gino, go ahead.
No, all I'm going to say is that it was expected. I know that these picks, the Jordan Davis pick, it isn't the sexiest, flashiest pick. Cam Jergens pick isn't the sexiest, flashiest pick. Well, A.J. Brown was exactly the sexy and flashy that we wanted. We got a touch of that yesterday. Jimmy Kempski was right on saying after the crowd-pleasing day yesterday, Howie Roseman makes a move like this. He was referencing quarterback, but hey, this is a guy who is the quarterback of your offensive line. And if they believe in Cam Jergens to be a capable replacement for a player who seems to be irreplaceable, you have to put a little bit of stock into that about how much they respect this kid and believe he could take that role.
Well, they still do have another pick today, so they could go corner safety with that 83rd overall.
I believe they will, Lou. I'm there.
We'll get into that pick later on tonight. We will have a reaction podcast at the end of day 2 of the NFL draft. We're going to sign off for now. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Again, day 2 of the 2022 NFL draft. Make sure though, continued analysis coming up on Twitter. Hit us up at LockedOnBirds, at DiBiase LOE, and at GC24 _football. Last sign off from Tony. I'm checking out for the night, guys. Great catching up. Appreciate Tony and everybody else that tuned in. We'll see you guys later. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on all podcast platforms for the recorded version of the show. And as always, thank you for listening and watching, and let's go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.